Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever time of day it is when you're watching this. I'm Tim, Yorkshire Dragoon, and this is going to be one of my very first and very few how I make things videos. Simply because I'm not confident enough yet in showing how I paint things. Given time, that'll come. But anyway, so those of you who may have come across my posts on the various groups on Facebook will know, and in Facebook and in YouTube will know that I recently bought a bunch of Anglo Saxon, Anglo Dane figures from V&V via Messrs Minis. I really want to do something with those, along probably using the Saga rules. And so I've decided to do that, and I've bought some houses from Sarissa Precision, of which this is one of my almost completed versions. I'm going to get some flocking on the top of the roof and a little bit around the base, and that should do it. I'm really quite pleased with that. Given time, once I get some flocking on it, it'll look a little bit more naturalistic instead of the horrible splodges of acrylic green paint. But obviously, to go with that, I wanted to do some fencing. Now, most modern fencing looks exactly that, anachronistic. So I was thinking about what would Iron Age, would Anglo Saxon villages have, and they would have little wattle and daub fencing. And so I had a look at this. It's not completely painted yet. Just giving it a brown undercoat, and I put a little bit of flock on the base, and maybe one or two stones. Maybe use the Geek Gaming Ready base ready products, but we'll see. So I started doing that, and I did this as a practice, and I was really very pleased with it. So I thought, well, I'll do a bit more, and thought to myself, I'll show you how I make it. It's fairly simple. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'll just pause you for now, get set up, get the camera set up, and we'll go from there. So back in a more. Hello again. Right, so what you see is the three basic materials that I use for making the wattle fencing. I went to a local hardware store and bought a bristle brush. I think it's about, well, it says on £2.99, but look at how many bristles and look at the length of them. I'd seen an American chap do something very similar, but he used pine needles. Now, in the UK, we don't seem to have pine needles that are long enough to do this. And I was trying for a while to think about what would be appropriate for it. And this is what's come up. So we've got the brush. We have little lolly sticks. These were got for me as a little stocking filler at Christmas by my delightful fiance. Don't know what, she got it from the local craft store, box of 100, probably a few pence, and of course the inevitable cocktail sticks. Now these will need to be cut down, these will need to be trimmed, and so I shall crack on with that. I'll shift away the brush because it's a little bit big. So using a side cutter, which I've just cleared away for no reason, but using a side cutter, I cut off the ends of the lolly sticks. They become vicious, so I'm glad I'm wearing my glasses because they disappear into the distance at high speed. As you can hear, they're probably popping off in the distance somewhere. I then get cocktail sticks and I cut them to 2 centimetre lengths. Now, the great thing about one of these mats, although it's a bit grubby, is that they are in centimetre graduations. There's a centimetre grid on there, so you just lay them against the grid, and with the pencil that you keep safe, you then mark them at 2 centimeters, and again at 2 centimeters. With normal cocktail sticks, you get 3 lots out. Slightly longer than 6 centimeters, but you get 3 lots of uprights out of them. So cut them again, and then straighten them up and make another cut. These don't have to be very accurate, because we can always trim them down if you want accuracy, or we can leave them rustic. I like the rustic look, so we move those apart. So there we have the 3 essential for the fence. I cut some bristles off the brush earlier on for another model. So we've got the 3 essentials. We've got the uprights, we've got the base, and we've got the bits that will become the wattle. The next thing to do is to drill holes in the base so that the uprights can sit in them. For that, I reach down and fetch my rotary tool. It's a Dremel copy, very good, dirt cheap, got it for Christmas or birthday or something last year. Very happy with it. So this will be a bit noisy, but what you do is you produce 3 or 7 holes along the length of it. I'm going to do 6 on this particular one. So I'll go 1 at the end. Speed that up a little bit. 1 at the other end. And then 1 in the middle. Strangely enough, it's not as noisy as I thought it was. It always seems a lot noisier. So that's that done. Place it out of the way. And there you see we have 7, not 6 or whatever I said earlier, but I've got 7 holes, so I need to cut another piece of it's another piece of upright, but that's not a big deal. I'll do that now. One of them, 2 centimeters measured. Then I cut it on the 2 centimeters, and then I've got the 7 pieces. So it's great. So then what we do is we place these uprights in the holes, pushing them right the way through so that you can see it on both, on the reverse side of it. That's not a problem. Again, through, so that they go in. Doesn't matter that they're not completely vertical. This is essentially how wattle fences are made anyway. You have a 6-foot piece of wood in which you insert uprights, and then you weave the hazel withies in between them, and then you lift it off the upright, and there you have it. So I push those down. I reach for my super glue, and this is I use super glue simply because I want to try and get this done as quickly as possible. So a little bit of super glue on each one. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, always one. Decides it doesn't like it, and it sticks to it, of course, because it's super glue, and super glue's been super glue will stick to everything. And now I'm going to be sticky, so I'll put that in there, and a blob of super glue on that one, and that should do it. So just tip that over so it doesn't stick to the board, like that, and we wait until they dry. So I will be back with you very shortly. So in the wink of an eye, the super glue has dried, and we come to the actual weaving of the wattles. As I say, in real life, these would be made of hazel, cut while it's green, so it's still flexible. But these are just the bristles from the brush. So start one side, and we just weave in between the various uprights and push it down. Start from the other end then, and weave in and out, in and out, in and out. Not being too worried about getting to the ends, so we can always tidy those up. Once again, opposite side though this time, in, out, in and out, pushing them down. I think I'll start a little bit earlier, in the middle now. I think just start it there, and you just keep on doing this, and you just continue doing that until you feel you've got the hang of it. You can weave a few round, because you can always super glue these ends to hold them down. Start there on this side, because we seem to have ended up there. We go, push that down, and so we carry on, and you keep on weaving and weaving and weaving until you get to the height you want. And I'll reach one, do a Blue Peter moment, and here we see we got one that the height I wanted. What I did was to compare them with a figure. These 28mm figures. These are from the Avonpost selection that I got. This is the monk, and I think that is probably high enough. I don't think it needs to be any higher than that for what I'm wanting to do. That will probably work quite well. Plate it up against the house that I've already I'm in the process of finishing, and you'll see it works quite well. I've left the ends very ragged. It's deliberately done that. Rather than trimming ends off nice and neat, I've deliberately left them ragged, so that when you put two together, move the house out of the way, when you put two together, they interlink like that, so you don't have any big gaps in the middle of them. This one looks even better that way around, I think. So once you've got a number of those, you can trim some of them off. There's one on this one particularly, there is a bit that's sticking out a little way. Just trim it off with your clippers, at least you try to. There, thank you. And that's that. So you have them ready made. The next job, once you've done that and all the glues have set, is to give them a paint. It's the usual case of a brown undercoat, and then either ready basing with something like the Geek Gaming basis, or you just flock it, or you just paint it whatever colour you want. The wattles themselves, you could possibly give them a dry brush, and the uprights possibly a dry brush. We'll see how that goes, and we'll play it from there. So, and that's about it. That's how you do it. That's how I do it. Whether or not you want to do it that way, or whether you want to try something different, I don't know. But there you go. Hope it's been useful. Hope you've enjoyed it. And I'll probably do another little video when I get the houses painted, or at least some more of them painted, and I know what I'm doing with them. So thank you very much, and I'll leave you to it.